Straight off the bat, guys, I am not a hair expert. I am not a hairstylist. I am a mere mortal like you guys with follicles on my head, and I enjoy styling them. People often ask me what tools I use for my hair, and so that is me establishing my authority in this space. And I think I've done a very good job of that. In today's video, I'll be comparing different curling tools for your hair to help any of you that are currently mulling over whether to go for a traditional heat styling tool or whether you should go for one of those new nifty whiz-bang air styling tools. Traditional heat styling tools have been around for ages. There are so many of them available, all at different price points, whereas those new nifty air styling tools are a newer addition. We're only really seeing a lot more of them in the last year or so. Now, the two tools that I'll be pitting against each other today will be the Dyson Airwrap. I have the newer version of the Airwrap, and the GHD Soft Curl Tong. Both of these are leaders within their respective niches. Now, the Dyson Airwrap I picked up in the middle of last year after many months of mulling over whether or not I should get it. I tried it on in David Jones. I have a whole video about this, and I finally convinced myself that the price was reasonable, and I bought it full price, thinking that it's never discounted. I was proven wrong only within a few months of buying this, because this thing does get discounted at like 20 to 25%. So don't ever buy this thing full price. Don't make my mistake. The other tool that I have is the GHD Soft Curl Tong. And I actually got this after I got the Dyson Airwrap too, which is probably the reverse of what people typically do. People normally have a traditional heat styling tool first and then they get this guy. But I went the opposite direction. My hairdresser has this and she uses this to style my hair. And so I just wanted to have this up my sleeve, which is why I have both. But having both also means that I can talk to you about both because I love a good comparison. I'm going to preface this comparison by stating from the outset that I appreciate that these tools are not like for like. I know and appreciate that the Dyson Airwrap is a hair styler, whereas the GHD Soft Curl Tong is a curler. It's a unitasker. I know this thing is a multitasker, but I like to curl my hair. It is my numero uno hairstyle at the moment, and so I thought it would be interesting to pit them against each other and share my thoughts as to how they compare when it comes to ease of use, how they impact overall hair health, the staying power of each of the hairstyles, portability, that's if you want to travel with any of these hair tools, and which one I ultimately prefer. Now, in preparation for this video, I have styled my hair using both tools. On this side, I have used my Dyson Airwrap, and on the other side, I have used my GHD Soft Curl Tong. And so, let's see some of that footage, and let's watch that together, just to see how that goes.
Why hello there, it's voiceover Virginia from the future, now giving commentary on what I've done in the past. How very meta of me. Here I am detangling my hair with this Cloud 9 comb. I'm going to go in with the Dyson, but first I need to dissect the follicles on my head, just to get them out of the way, because that'll be the GHD side. I'm going to section this part off before applying a heat protectant spray. Here we are with a beauty influencer maneuver. I'm going to spray that on my hair just because I'm heat styling it, setting the direction in the right way, and let's fast forward this business. And we are almost finishing styling my hair with the Dyson on this side of my head, just unraveling that last curl. I'm going to finish off my curls with this Virtue texturizing spray, which I've talked about previously. And that's the Dyson side of my head. Now prepping the other side for the GHD. Gotta plug this bad boy in, section the hair, protect the hair, clamp the hair, curl the hair, and unravel the curl, and let's fast forward this business. Just popping in the last curl and unraveling that, and that's what it's looking like on the GHD side, rather crunchy, and so in order to decrunch it, I just comb it through just to add a bit of softness and volume. I'm finishing off the style with the Virtue texturizing spray. That is my hair, one side with the Dyson, the other with the GHD. Looking pretty good, not so strange, and let's go back to the video.
What riveting footage. As you can see, there is a different result with each of the styling tools, and I normally do style my whole head with the one styling tool. As you can see here, this is an entire Airwrapped head, and over here is an entire GHD head. But I don't think that I look strange with two different style curls on my head. Maybe we'll make it a thing. Anyway, let's get to the all-important comparison, what you're all here for. I'm going to touch on all of the things that I think are important to address to make this a proper comparison, which will hopefully be of assistance to anyone in the middle of a decision-making process. Let's start off with the time taken to style your hair. Now, which one wins? Has to be this guy. This one heats up really quickly and it doesn't need as long on your hair in order to create the curl, and you can also curl bigger chunks of your hair. So in terms of efficiency, the GHD. Now for ease of styling, that is which tool is easier to use when it comes to creating a curl. I'm going to go with the Dyson as the easier one to use between the two, because I find the curls are much more consistent, and it's a bit of a set and forget situation as well, because once your hair is on, you just have to wait for it to heat up and then it's just repeat as required. Whereas the GHD requires a bit of practice. You are in control with how you want your curl to look, and I appreciate there is a bit of versatility there, but there is more room for error. And because this thing heats up so hot, and you can't even adjust the temperature to a lower temperature, then if you do make a mistake, then it can be quite harmful to your hair. Whereas the Dyson is much more forgiving in that respect. I didn't have this on my list, but I should also compare temperatures now that I've touched on heat. The Dyson gets up to a maximum of 160 degrees Celsius, whereas the GHD is set to only the one temperature of 185 degrees. You can adjust the heat setting on the Dyson for it to be lower as well, and so 160 degrees is the absolute maximum, whereas the GHD doesn't offer that flexibility with adjusting the temperature. It just stays at 185 degrees. Fiery burning hot lava, hot, not as hot. Adjustable. Now for hairstyle staying power, this is probably not going to come to a surprise to any of you. The GHD wins in that regard. That is a huge bugbear of a lot of people with the Dyson Airwrap. I do get about 2 to 3 days worth of curls which become waves by the third day. It's because it just doesn't use as much heat, but I do find that I get a lot more staying power when I do prep my hair. And so as you would have seen when I styled my hair for this video, I just did it on dry hair. I did put a heat protectant spray on, but they do recommend that you style it as freshly washed hair at about 90% dry. And I do find that when I do that, then it does stay a little bit longer, whereas the GHD is less fussy in that regard, and you can just go in with completely dry hair, but always apply a heat protectant, of course, if you style your hair regularly like I do. And I find that the curls last at least 3 to 4 days. They become a wave by about the 4th day. Now for the overall health of your hair, which I think is very important and should be maintained, the winner in that regard is obviously the Dyson, because it only heats up to 160 degrees, and when you're doing different things with the Dyson and styling it in different ways, then you don't need the maximum heat to achieve what you need to do. So for example, when I am smoothing my hair before I curl it, which is something that I do sometimes, then I don't use the highest heat setting. I do use the highest heat setting though when I am curling my hair, because that is the styling aspect as opposed to the prep aspect where I don't apply as much heat. So I have no qualms using this every day, and sometimes I will go in and I will revive some of my curls by about day 3, whereas with this guy I will not do that. I think once I've curled my hair and styled it, I won't touch it again with the curler, because I don't want to singe my hair. I want my hair to stay as healthy as it can for as long as possible. And so this guy is more of an occasional use, whereas this guy is more of an everyday proposition. Now in terms of space, that is how much space the tools take up when they are not in use, and I appreciate this isn't a like for like comparison, the Dyson Airwrap takes up an enormous amount of space. The box is huge because it houses all of the different attachments that you can use and pop onto this guy. That box takes up a significant amount of bathroom space on one of my shelves, whereas the GHD is just this guy. And so when this isn't in use, I actually just pop it on top of the Dyson Airwrap box. Much more compact, space saving, think studio apartment. This is more of like a country estate with acreage. Which brings me to the next point of comparison, which is how portable they are when it comes to travel. And I have traveled with the Dyson Airwrap before, but I don't take the entire box with me. I just take a select number of attachments with me. Normally no more than 2. I usually take the curling attachment, and I always take the smoothing attachment as well. I haven't actually traveled with the GHD yet. The thing about the GHD though is it does take a bit of time for it to cool down, whereas this guy doesn't take as long to cool down. This one takes probably 3 times longer than the Dyson to cool down, just because of how hot it is. And if that's a factor when it comes to travel and leaving your things around, which is for me because I've got little kids and I don't want them burning themselves when holding mum's hair tool, I find the Dyson is just safer to travel with, and the attachments don't actually have to travel while on the base of the Airwrap too. You can just disconnect them and it becomes a little bit more compact as well, whereas this guy just stays in the one piece. In terms of portability, they both have their pros and their cons. Now let's compare them when it comes to price, because this is a huge factor. Now the GHD Soft Curl Tong retails for 270 Australian dollars full price. I got this guy for 20% off, so $216 I believe. And I would only recommend that you buy the GHD when it is discounted, because the discounts happen quite often. You can wait and save yourself some hard-earned clams. Whereas the Dyson Airwrap, as we all know and love, this one retails for $899 I believe. I bought this for $8.99. Let me just check. It's gone up to $9.49. So the Dyson Airwrap has now gone up to $9.49 full price, but they do discount this. This was my error. I didn't think that Dyson really discounted any of their hair tools, because they didn't for the longest time. But with the new model, they have sought to discount them periodically. They discounted them for Black Friday last year. They discounted them over the Boxing Day sale period. And so you can get them for at least 20% off. So would I suggest you wait for a discount? Hells yeah, because you can save yourself hundreds of dollars. Having said that, even the discounted price is a mozza, and the GHD still wins when it comes to price there, but it just all comes down to what you are after when it comes to your hair tool, which is why I'm here, comparing them in this detail. And the last question that I wanted to address, because I know that I'll be asked this, is which styling tool do I prefer between the two? If I could only have one, which one would it be? I like the GHD for this hairstyle staying power and the fact that it's a lot quicker to use. But ultimately, in order to maintain the health of my hair, I will go with the Dyson Airwrap, because it is something that I have no qualms using often. This one I am a little bit more scared to do that, because I don't want to singe my hair constantly. The Dyson Airwrap is the one that I would choose between the two. But because I don't have to make that choice, I do like that I have both styling tools that I can use at my leisure. I still think that there is a place for both in my hair kit, but if I had to choose just the one, it would be the Dyson. And so that is a wrap, pun intended, on my comparison between the Dyson Airwrap and the GHD Soft Curl Tong. I hope that you found this useful, particularly if you are mulling between the two. Hair and beauty isn't really a focus for my channel, but I do have a couple more videos about the Dyson Airwrap, because it was quite a process for me to buy it because of the price tag. There was a lot of consideration involved, and I talk you through that. And so I'll link those videos if you're interested in watching. In general, I mainly post about personal style with more of a focus on smart casual workwear, which is the dress code vibe that I'm currently enjoying. And so if you want to see more of that stuff, then make sure that you hit subscribe. And if you like this video and found it helpful, then hit that thumbs up button so that I know as well. I'm going to wrap this up here. I will see you guys in my next video. Until next time, bye!